Welcome to the Arc de Triomphe, one of Paris and France's most famous monuments. The arch is located in the middle of Place de Gaulle, the large circular square and the biggest traffic center in Paris. The place, previously known as Place de l'Étoile, is also called the Star Square due to the fact that no less than 12 streets emanate from it. Standing at the end of Champs-Élysées, the arch is said to link the old Paris and the new Paris, and it is situated between the Louvre on one side and the financial district with its skyscrapers on the other. So why was the Arc de Triomphe built in the first place? Not surprisingly, it was built in order to honor military victories. It was commissioned by Emperor Napoleon himself after his decisive victory of the Russian Austrian army in the Battle of Austerlitz in 1806. As this was during the peak of his fortunes, Napoleon wanted something to honor not only the victory at Austerlitz, but also his previous victories. The construction of the arch began quickly, but the construction process proved to be long and hard. Laying the foundation alone took over 2 years. Napoleon never got to see the arch finished due to his defeat in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. After Napoleon lost the battle, he was forced to surrender his throne, and the victorious coalition forces which defeated him installed Louis XVIII in his place. The new king had Napoleon exiled, and the construction of the arch stopped. The construction later began again in 1833, during the reign of Louis Philippe, and was completed in 1836. The result is what you can see today, a near 50-meter high and 45-meter wide masterpiece. It is one of the largest Arch of Triumph in the world, placing second, only beaten by the arch in Pyongyang, North Korea. The monument was designed by the French architect Jean-Charles Grün in 1806. Charles Grün died later in 1811, and during the construction process a number of other architects carried out his work. The design of the arch is inspired by the Roman Arch of Titus, located in Rome, but in a more neoclassical style. As you can see, the arch is stacked with beautiful reliefs and sculptures. If you take a look at the outside of the arch, above the large vault, you will see the richly sculptured frieze of soldiers with picture scenes from various battles. Among them are Napoleon's victory over the Turkish in the Battle of Abukir, and when Napoleon defeated the Austrians during the Battle of Austerlitz. Above this, you can see a row of shields. These shields honor the major revolutionary and Napoleonic military victories, as each one of the 30 shields carries the name of a specific battle. If you later take a closer look at the inside walls of the arch, you will see a long list of names. The list is the name of French generals. Upon closer inspection, you will find that some of the names are underlined. This indicates that the general died in battle. Also inscribed on the shorter sides of the 4 supporting columns are the names of the major battles of the Napoleonic Wars. The most prominent feature of the arch is, however, the large statue which rests at the base of the columns. If you're looking at it from Champs-Élysées, you will have the most famous one on the right side, Departure of the Volunteers of 92, commonly called La Marseillaise. This sculpture was made by François Rude and depicts the French people rallying against enemies from abroad. The citizens, who are depicted both nude and in classical armor, are united under the Roman goddess of war, Bellona. On the left side, you can see the Triomphe, made by Jean-Pierre Cortot. In the middle, you will see Napoleon, as he just conquered another town, who surrendered at his feet. You will also find the Roman goddess of victory, Victoria, crowning Napoleon with a crown of wreath. On the opposite side of the Triomphe, that is the side of the arch looking away from Champs-Élysées, you will find Resistance. This sculpture shows a naked soldier defending his family, urged on by the Roman goddess of future, Antevorte. The last sculpture of the four is called Peace. It shows a man who puts his sword back into his scabbard under the protection of Minerva, the Roman warrior goddess. Behind the man, you can see the peasants going back to their ordinary daily work. Since the fall of Napoleon in 1815, this sculpture has been interpreted as a celebration of the peace that followed his defeat. Beneath the arch, you will also find an interesting grave. This grave provides the final resting place for one of the many unidentified soldiers who died during the First World War. It is known as the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. On the grave, a flame burns in memory of the dead, not only for this man, but for all unidentified soldiers who lost their lives during the two world wars. The coffin was put in its final resting place on January 28, 1921. On top of the grave, you can read the inscription, Ici repose un soldat français, meurt pour la patrie, 1914 vers 1918, which means, here lies a French soldier who died for his fatherland, 1914 to 1918. In 1961, the US President John F. Kennedy paid his respect to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers, accompanied by French President and war hero Charles de Gaulle. Throughout the years, the arch has been the place of many other major events and national celebrations. In 1840, Napoleon's body passed under the arch, on its way to its second and final resting place at Les Invalides. There has also been many famous victory marches under the arch, including the Prussians in 1871 and the French defeat in the Franco-Prussian War, the French in 1918 after the First World War, the Germans in 1940 as they conquered Paris, and the French and Allied forces again in 1944 and 1945. Today, the Arc de Triomphe is visited by millions of people each year. If you haven't already, I recommend you take a closer look at the arch by going through the underpass. It is also possible to enter the top, which will give you a great view over central Paris.